given it more of a Hot Shots level of humor.
Yeah.
And that would have been a little too much, I think. I think what they did was perfect. And it just comes down to it. What I said about people when I was asking for questions, that's like the scene that everyone remembers.
They think he's dead.
And like people are making the eye patch like they're giving it its own mythology and its own backstory almost, when really it just switched for that one scene.
And he got the eye in a craps game, which Rocket Raccoon would be very jealous of.
Oh, he got the eye in a craps game.
Yeah, he won it in the craps game. It's like Pirates. That guy has the eye that doesn't fit.
Remember how I said he lost his eye in two different ways?
Yeah.
I thought he said lost that eye in a bad craps game.
I
misheard it.
Yeah, he won it in the craps game. That
was what I couldn't think of earlier, but I thought I assumed that he was down and someone pulled out a knife.
This is the second part of David's question. He asks, also, how many times has Kurt played a captain? So I went through his back catalog, and so he played a Captain Ives in Interstate 60. He has a small cameo in there, and then he's Captain Ron in this movie. So he's played he was also another captain in Captain Dennis McCaffrey. He plays two different characters in Backdraft. So 3 times in Backdraft, Interstate 60, and Captain Ron, he has been a captain.
Oh, so captain, the title, not captain as in Marine captain.
I guess any captain. I just searched, if captain is before his name, I took it.
I got you. I'd take that, though. Backdraft, I wouldn't have thought of that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, he played 2 characters. And then he put even stranger. What is the organizational chart of all the military characters he's played? John, do you mind if I break this down real quick?
You go ahead, because I didn't know how to approach that.
So, I kind of did them in order of rank. And there's firefighters, there's police, there's old-timey, there's army. Like, they're all different, but I kind of did it by rank. So, in Dark Blue, he plays Sergeant Eldon Perry. Then in Tango and Cash, he plays Lieutenant Gabriel Cash. In Backdraft, he's Captain Dennis McCaffrey. In Interstate 60, he's Captain Ives. In Bone Tomahawk, he is Sheriff Hunt. In Tombstone, he becomes a U.S. Marshal, which is federal, so he's in that. And then in Stargate, he's Colonel Jack O'Neill. Then we move on to the Fast movies where he's Mr. Nobody, who is a very high-ranking officer. I mean, he is so high-ranking, the government travels around kegs of Belgian beer. And helicopters come for him at any moment's notice.
He's delivering millions of dollars of automatic weapons probably to Nicaragua or Russia or whoever he wants trying to kill someone else.
Yeah, so he's very high ranking. Then we have, get this, the commander in Sky High. Right? He is the commander of the superhero family. Then,
I forgot that movie existed.
In the Christmas Chronicles, he's very proud of Sky High, by the way. Every time people are like, hey, Captain Ron's I've read so many interviews, right? Captain Ron is a cult classic. He skips it completely. He goes, I like that movie because I met Martin Short and we're really great friends now. He's like, but you should watch Sky High. That's the movie I want more people to watch. So he brings up he doesn't talk about Captain Ron all that much. And then he plays Santa Claus in the Christmas Chronicles. I mean, he's old Saint Nick. He's everywhere. He can fly. He can freeze time. Super powerful being. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he plays a planet, a god, Ego. So I did the chart.
Dude, Santa Claus is the commander-in-chief of a continent.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So who's more powerful, Ego or probably Ego over Santa, right?
Probably. Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
I actually had a very fun time putting together this chart. So thank you, David. That was really fun. And then another question that we have is right here, and this is from Lacey, and she asks, how many movies has water served as a significant feature in the film? Which ones has he appeared in?
You mean Kurt Russell films?
Yeah, Kurt Russell films has water played. So do you want to get us started with any of this, John?
I mean, I think of the remake of the Poseidon Adventure Poseidon. That had some heavy scenes where water's the big deal. Kurt Russell's character drowns.
Yeah, that's bad news.
That was a tough scene to watch, by the way. Yeah. Wow.
Don't kill. Why would you knock out Kurt Russell? And then I guess to go with that, we have Deepwater Horizon about the oil fire, the oil rig fire on the Gulf.
And And water plays a big factor. I'm going to let you talk about them, but it plays a big factor in both Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
Yep, because Escape from LA, he surfs, right? And he takes the water. Wait, which one does he surf in? He surfs in Escape from LA. He surfs in LA, and then he also takes the submarine there.
Yeah, it looks like the Batwing version of a submarine almost.
And then Escape from New York, doesn't he surf in?
I don't remember him surfing in that, but I haven't seen that in a long time.
I love Escape from LA, dude. That's surfing. Holy crap. What a great scene.
You love that surfing.
Yeah, I love that surfing. That's he and Fonda are high-fiving each other while surfing in a drainage ditch. Then we have Captain Ron, of course. Lots of water. Overboard, right? Because she falls overboard.
Right.
On the yacht. Now, I have some that are out there, John, but I just want you to roll with me, all right?
All right, let's hear it.
Backdraft. He's a firefighter. What do they fight fire with?
Okay. Fine, water.
Yep. All right. Miracle. They play hockey. What do they play hockey on top of?
On the ice, right?
And that's
okay.
frozen water,
Frozen
right?
water for
right?
the listeners, yes.
Now, The Thing. Where does that take place?
Antarctica, which is a bunch of frozen water. I'm not going to say you're wrong. They even found it. They found the Thing in a block of ice.
That's right. He could, take some of the ice, put it in a scotch, or he could just dump it in his computer. And then The Hateful Eight. That takes place in a snowed-in cabin.
Right.
So more frozen water. Why is all the water frozen? That happening too. A lot of his movies have played around water. What do you think?
I feel like most of those are on point. Hateful Eight. I feel like you're reaching. I appreciate the reach, though. That was a fun movie, and I liked his character a lot in that.
And then Santa Claus lives in the North Pole.
Right.
Right? Where there's a lot of water that's frozen.
Right.
What do you think?
Sure.
Now,
sure.
He does have some anti-water movies, and that is Bone Tomahawk, Stargate, and Tombstone. Anti-water movies.
Soldier was mostly pretty arid areas too, wasn't it?
Well, he gets rained on in Soldier. Remember? They get the wet Kurt Russell rain scene.
That's right.
So, I did a lot of work here. And then Tequila Sunrise, there's a scene on the beach, in the water, in the ocean.
Wait, there's another movie I forgot almost totally that existed.
This was fun, man. I went through all his movies, and I love that I made you tell me what ice was. Well, it's frozen.
More than once.
It's frozen water.
It's like, Miracle, what do they play on? The ice, and what's that, John? Yes, for the listeners, it's frozen water. It's like David Letterman's, not co-host, but like the band guy, where, sometimes he just gets roped into his jokes at the opening. Yeah, David, yeah. So, hey, we nailed it, right? We answered these questions pretty well. I think wasn't there another question? Oh, do we have another one? There was the question about Snake and Ron drinking.
Oh, yeah. So who would win this was from Chris Kelly, right? So Chris Kelly asked, who would win in a drinking contest? Would it be Snake and Ron against Simon Pegg and Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead?
Now, I'll bet the popular gut response from people is the Kurt Russell characters, but honestly, they are incidental drinkers. Yeah. I think that Ron is drinking super light beer.
Super light.
Like one beer every couple hours. And he's not drinking to get drunk. He's just casually, it's like when you're at the beach all day.
We never see Ron drunk.
Right, but I don't even think, you never see a bunch of empty beer bottles around, really. He just strikes me as someone who's casually getting through. He doesn't flip it upside down like Dom Toretto for 30 seconds. He's just casually sipping a beer. Whereas the guys from...
Well, they're in the pub every day, right?
Yeah, and they talk about it. It's a big problem with the girlfriend. It's, we see them hammered a lot. They are serious drinkers. And I don't think they're drinking slowly either. I think they're taking panic gulps when they first get there after a day of work. And then when they're about to close, I'll bet they order 2 pints and take them down in 15 minutes.
Whoa.
They are not big guys. Well, actually, Nick Frost kind of is. But in general, they're not big hulking guys, but they are drinkers.
So you have incidental drinkers, because Snake Plissken's in good shape too. Neither, like, he stays after, he probably has some drinks, but he has to keep, he's a gunfighter. He probably has to keep his head straight. And Ron just likes to have the occasional cerveza.
But I mean, I'll bet that if you were to put a check mark every hour of the day that Snake or Ron have a beer, it would be more hours of more days of more weeks of more years. They drank in more hours of their life than Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. However, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are drinking at least the same number of beers in a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah, they're knocking back either they're probably getting a lager or just a nice, I don't know. I don't see them doing cask ales, do you? They're probably just doing a lager.
But they're not drinking Corona Lights either.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably getting like I know it's a completely different area, but in Ireland, when I was out there, the favorite beer was Carlsberg. Everyone just loved that lager. So they're probably getting something equivalent.
That's like a 4.8, 5, right? Yeah, but it's like a Budweiser.
Yeah. So they're just knocking back some nice draft lagers at their local. But I like what you said. As soon as they show up, they're getting two and knocking one back fast.
Dude, really, I think about us in college hitting a bar. Like in the first hour, ignoring the notion of shots, I'll bet in the first hour you drink like 3 or 4 beers. Like I just got here. Oh, I got to catch up, or just whatever. Or the first one you just chug it for the sake of chugging it. You order 2 beers, and then the second one is your sipper. Every single time someone is ordering a beer and you're like halfway, you're like, well, by the time they get here, I'll be a little lower than I may as well just chug this and order a beer. Like it's just that's their mentality, I'll bet. And Kurt Russell, if he finishes his beer, his first thought isn't, I got to get another beer. Like that's not Ron's thought. It's whenever he goes to that side of the boat again, he might think, oh yeah, beer. And pick up a beer. Whereas those guys, they need another beer before they finish this beer, so they don't have any moment without beer.
I love it. That's perfect. When they're looking at the jukebox beer, when they come home from that, they probably stop by the convenience store, get a 4-pack. I love it. All right, last question. Who's a better surfer, Snake or Captain Ron?
I don't know if Ron is telling a fish story about his surfing or not. We've seen Snake surf.
I mean, Snake surfs. A monsoon hits him, and he stays on the board. So it's got to be Snake.
And there's cement near him. If he wipes out, he could die.
And he steers his surfboard up on a ledge and then jumps into Steve Buscemi's car.
Like, he's doing some high-risk stuff very casually. Like that, he is a master surfer. Ron mentions surfing once.
Yeah. Ron can get it done. But yeah, he's not.
And to the tune of Ron mentioning stuff, most of the stuff he mentions involves failing.
Yeah, I tried that once.
Boats will get out of the way. I learned that driving the Saratoga.
Yeah.
He mentions his boss's boat that he crashed into the Great Barrier Reef. Like he messes things up a lot. So when he mentions surfing, I'm not imagining him being an ace at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Snake. I was trying to find I was just looking at my phone. I was trying to find a reference to the surfing again, but I couldn't find one. But yeah, I mean, man, can we just talk about? Can we do a 2-hour podcast about that surfing scene, John?
You would. You've written an entire article about it, haven't you?
Yep. It's a good view getter. 5 Reasons Why Escape from LA is a bonkers masterpiece.
That's right.
I stand by it. So we had some good questions. That was fun. So before we get gone out of here, man, do you have any plugs that you want to get done?
Oh, gosh. Just a lot of our regular supporters, like on Twitter, there's, with 2 M's, Grim Horror is all over our material. Author John F. Leonard, who does Bad Pennies and a lot of other things that you can buy on Amazon. He's a horror writer. He's all over our podcast. The folks from The Fear Merchant and Crash Palace, John Wheedler, Johnny Numb, and Billy Crash, great supporters, and I love their podcast, The Last Knock. I think that about does it for me this week.
Well, yeah, no, and thank you for everyone who sent in questions. Also, quick reminder, y'all, we're on Spotify, so if you want to listen to our podcast there, make sure to do that. Make sure to favorite it. Also, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. This was fun, and so actually, pay attention to Movies, Films, and Facebook? Movies, Films, and Flicks, Facebook. we are going to put up, maybe in the next month, we're going to put up a poll for what